is your Chic Mortgage Millennial, and I'm coming to you with another video talking about some mortgage things, my mortgage life primarily. So I wanted to come to you out with a real talk video, kind of. Let's just come sit down on the couch with me and let's talk. A lot of people ask me, what is it like to be a mortgage loan originator? And it's such a loaded question because every day I'm doing the best that I can to help people become homeowners, and it all sounds good. But many times when people actually, try to get started, it's just like too many obstacles to get started. As I told you in my other video, I told you some of the things that you need to do to become a mortgage loan originator or a loan officer. And, it's kind of just a checklist of things, right? Do your continuing education, pass your test, get sponsored, pay your fee, and then you're a loan officer ready to do business. But it's really not all, that's not all that, it is. Because once you actually get your license, you start, every day is a battle. We're fighting for our life every day. And so I know many people who have reached out to me like, hey, I just passed my test, and, they're so excited that they get to do loans, and then they kind of just fade out. And, I follow up with them and I'm just like, oh, are you still doing mortgages? And they're like, no, I'm doing something else, or no, this and that, this and that. And the main thing that it kind of boils down to is support, because when you are a loan officer, everything falls on you. Like, this is not the type of industry where people are going to hold your hand, or people are going to be like, hey, this is what you need to do to get your loan approved. No, they're going to be like, hey, so this is the issue, and what you gonna do? And if you don't have experience, or you don't have someone that you can ask, like, okay, how do I overcome this obstacle? How do I overcome this objection? Then your loan is gonna fall apart and it hurts. Luckily, I haven't, experienced I haven't been necessarily alone when it comes to being lost, but I still feel lost sometimes because things are changing in the mortgage industry every day. And I've been in the mortgage industry, I say my entire life, but I've been licensed for 5 years. As I told you all, my mom, she's in the mortgage industry. My sister's in the mortgage industry. Like, they have years and years of experience. So my little 5 years is just like 5 days, right? But, I'm still doing good. I've head on my shoulder. But, it's just hard. You have to have thick skin. And sometimes you might just feel like, gosh, I only hear bad news. Like, I was talking to one new loan officer, and she was like, it just seems like that nobody wants to help you get the loan. It just seems like no one wants to help. And I laugh because sometimes I'll, whenever I get a call from like a processor or someone in the loan transaction, depending on the day that I'm having, I might just answer the phone and be like, hey, no bad news today. Like, are you calling with bad news? Because being a loan officer, sometimes it feels like you're answering the phone to just hear bad news about your loan. And it's not necessarily bad news. I'm laughing because it's funny, because it's kind of true, but it's not bad news. It's just facts. Like, you can have the perfect situation set up, submit the perfect file, and then you will find out something about your buyers, and you'll just be like, why didn't you tell me that? It's crazy. I just remember, I always tell people this story because it was like my first house. It was like $500,000. And by the time that process was done, I literally, at closing, I literally just cried in the car. I cried in the car when that loan was closed, because the mortgage industry is stressful. And if you're new and it's just like, there's just so much money on the line, and, when you finally just overcome, of course, the customer or client, they're just like on your neck, and then the realtor is just like rah, 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 and you don't really know how to handle those emotions. Like, I'm very even toned, like, throughout the process, but you kind of have to build that skin. Like, typically all news is not bad news, it's just how you relay it or portray it. You want to just speak based on facts and things like that. But when you're new, all you know is like, they just asked her for another document. I just don't get it. Why do they keep doing that? They're making me look so bad. But it's not that, you know? And you kind of learn as you go. This is a learn as you go industry, but you really have to have thick skin. And like I said, sometimes you just don't find out certain things until you're in the process. But as you grow, you learn how to overcome different obstacles. You learn how to collect items on the front end. So for example, if someone has a certain type of income, you'll know, okay, I need to figure out what documentation to get in order to submit this to an underwriter. That way they don't come back and ask for this, that, square Z, this, that, and then say we can't use it anyway because such and such and such and such. So you'll learn how to overcome different things, or you know how to have those conversations like, hey, don't change your job. Don't change your job, because if you change your job, we're gonna need 30 days pay stubs and you're gonna delay your closing. That way, if you get someone who's like, yeah, I just started another job, but no problem, I already have a pay stub, and you're like, one pay stub isn't gonna cut it. You're supposed to close. Now we have to delay your closing because remember I said, you have these conversations on the front end, or when you're in the process, you don't have to worry about them saying, oh, by the way, your borrower opened a loan account for $10,000 and disguised it as gift funds, and the money was actually transferred from the gift donor from the person's other account, and then now we have to back out all of their funds because they basically tried to finesse, and you're just like, what? All of these are things that has happened, by the way. Or, there's just so many different things that can go wrong. Like, not necessarily go wrong, but so many obstacles that you have to overcome and figure out how to overcome them. All of these situations that I'm even discussing, the loans, they still closed, but it was because we had to do what we needed to do in order to overcome these obstacles. But when you don't have like the resources and tools to be successful, or the training, then you can literally just be like, well, I give up, and because the processors that you're working with or underwriters, they might not guide you or help you and tell you, hey, in order for me to clear this condition, you need this. They're just going to say, hey, this is the condition, give us the receipts. And as a loan officer, you have to be able to get that documentation in order to support whatever income, credit, employment, all of the above that you put on the application. So it's a lot. Sometimes when I run down all of the things that I'm doing, people are really like, what do you do? What language are you speaking? Because I remember one time, I can't remember where we were. I think we were at a doctor's office or something like that. And me and my mom, we were talking. She's a realtor, I'm a loan officer. And the nurse, she came in and she was like, it sounds like y'all are just speaking a different language. And it was just funny because that's what you would think with them. Like, you're a nurse. Most of the stuff that you're saying, I have no idea what you're talking about when you're like, hey, I need this form, this, that, when you're talking to your nurses. But it really can be like that. Like, if you're in the mortgage industry or in real estate, sometimes you'll be in an in-depth conversation and people be like, are you an astronaut? Like, what are you talking about? I guess in all different industries and fields, there's jargon, and that is something, that you have to learn over time. I used to always take notes. I love writing down things, but anytime I hear something new, I write it down so that way I can make sure that if I ever come across that situation, I know how to overcome that obstacle. But I don't know. This is just a video talking about what I do and some of the things that I face as a loan officer, loan originator, all of that fun stuff. But by me giving you this information, you can decide, hey, is this a career for you? Is this something that you would be interested in doing? I love what I do. It's stressful. I've learned how to not make it stress me out as much, even though sometimes, people, we all have our emotions and things like that, but I just try not to be too emotional about it. I try to address situations with facts, and that way I know what to do moving forward. And, like, for example, I have a situation now. The seller, let me see, how can I make this anonymous? All right, so we had an appraisal come back, and the appraiser, they needed appliances for the house. And so the appraisal came back as is, but subject to appliances being installed. And sometimes that does happen. Sometimes the appraisals will come back when they might not just always come back low. They might just say, hey, everything's fine, value's fine, we just need you to such and such. So typically the agent will reach out, the buyer's agent will reach out to the listing agent, and they'll let them know, hey, seller needs to do this, so the appraiser can come back and re-inspect, and we can just move forward. Let's just say it's been about a month. Let's just say about a month ago, right? The appraisal came in, and that's a long time. If you're in real estate, you're just like, what, a month ago? And they keep saying, oh, we're gonna put it in this date. Date passes, oh, we're gonna put it in this date, or oh, we weren't able to order the appliances are out, or oh, this and that, or hey, the appliances will be in here, let's extend the closing date to this. The closing date was extended and the appliances still were not in, right? 2 days before closing. Now keep in mind, a whole month ago is when the request was made. The appliances still weren't in, and we got a call saying, hey, the appliances are in today, and can we still close on Friday? That was Wednesday. So that's 2 days. You're supposed to close in 2 days. The appliances are in. Are we still closing in 2 days? Once the appliances are put in, the appraiser has to do their reinspection. They have to do their reports. They have to provide the report to the lender. Then the loan has to be submitted for final review from the underwriter. Then the loan has to be approved, cleared to close. Then the loan has to go through compliance. Then the loan has to go to the closing department. CD's balanced. In between this time, the CD must be sent out 2 days. The CD must be sent out. You have to receive the CD in 3 days prior to closing. The buyer has to receive the CD. All of this laundromat list of things. It's Wednesday midday, and you're like, hey, are we still closing in 2 days? No. No, you're not. It's exactly what you're not doing. We're still waiting on the appraiser to provide the report, and you just let them know, give them facts of what had to happen, what has to happen in order to get them to close. They waited a whole month. But I find that, sometimes that does happen. Sometimes people will just drag their feet on certain things, but the lender, we're not magicians. Everything has a turnaround time. The appraisers, they're not the quickest. Well, let me not dog my appraisers. I love them too. I love us all. We all have the same goal. Real estate agents, realtors, however you would like to identify yourself. Appraisers, underwriters, processors, everyone's a good guy. I do not like to portray anyone as a bad guy because often things fall on the loan officer, and if all else fails, blame your lender. But it's just things like that. If the loan was at a standstill because we're waiting for the appraisal, we received everything on our end prior to. But if we don't get the appliances that are needed, then we cannot submit your loan for final. So trying to hurry up and do that basically the day before closing because that day is done, no. But those are some of the tough conversations that you kind of have to have. You have to manage things. You have to follow up. You have to be like, hey, what are y'all doing? And that's where partnership is good as well, because you want to be communicating with your realtor and let them know, you need to get on the seller and let them know, get on the listing agent. It's been another week. Where are their appliances? There weren't repairs. I don't know. I'm just ranting. Hopefully you all even care about what I'm talking about. This is a day in the life of a loan officer. These are just some of the obstacles that we overcome each day. And that is why I said things can be stressful. You always hear news. It's not bad news. It's just how you try to resolve the issue, and everyone's goal is to get to the closing table. I love what I do. I love the people that I work with, and every day you learn something new, and you live to fight another day. And that is the life of a loan officer. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. Hopefully you guys can kind of get some more insight and details on what it is that I do each day. One day I will come to you with this video and I'm gonna have a nice set and all that stuff and some nice lighting. And I'm gonna have a lovely microphone and we're gonna glow up each day. All right, so this is the Chic Mortgage Millennial, again, coming to you with some mortgage related things. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on my social media. All social media is Chic Mortgage Millennial, and y'all have a great day.